fly list has cut down unruly flyers. No fly list has cut down unruly flyers. Who are unruly flyers? Who behave in a bad way inside the aircraft. They are unruly flyers. I think you all know 2 years back, Ravindra Gaikwad. There is an incident where the MP have beaten the staff. Okay. So, if they behave in an unruly way with the airline staff or in the aircraft, they will be under the no flyers list. They will not be allowed to catch an aircraft. They won't be allowed to fly again. So, this made unruly passengers to get quiet. At least they stopped now all this nonsense to a minimum extent. They have minimized this nonsense. Okay, this is unruly flyers. Next article, very important, first page. Center may scrap UGC. Center may scrap UGC. Proposes a new regulator. Center may scrap UGC. Proposes a new regulator. The central government have decided to replace University Grants Commission, which conducts examination, which gives syllabus, which regulates all colleges. The central government is set to replace the Open Higher Education Regulatory Body UGC with Higher Education Commission of India. So, the new institution will be Higher Education Commission of India. By repealing the UGC Act 1951. Earlier we have an act called UGC Act 1951. By repealing the UGC Act 1951, Higher Education Commission of India will be created. It is on the proposal. The proposed Higher Education Commission of India, would focus. The proposed Higher Education Commission of India would focus solely on academic matters. Solely on academic matters. Underline the word academic matters. ACADEMIC. Academic means curriculum, education, all these things. It will deal with academic matters and monetary grants MONETARY. Monetary grants would be under the purview of HRD Ministry. Monetary grants means granting the funds. Earlier, even now UGC grants funds and UGC also sees the academics. Now the new Higher Education Commission of India, which is set to be proposed, will see only academic things. It won't deal with any monetary grants. Any money related grants it won't deal. It won't deal with any monetary grants. It will deal only with academic matters. Monetary grants will be dealt by the HRD Ministry, Human Resources Development Ministry. HRD Ministry means the ministry which deals with education. HRD Ministry means the ministry which deals with education. And next, coming to today's editorial page. Before going to editorial page, yesterday I spoke about golden crescent and golden triangle. I told what is golden triangle. Pakistan, Afghanistan, Iran. Golden crescent, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Iran. And I asked all of you to find out what is golden triangle. Thailand, Myanmar. Earlier it is called Burma. Laos, Thailand, Myanmar. Earlier it is called Burma. Next important article, reality check. Reality check. Reality check. Reality check is editorial. Reality check is today's editorial. Check. The worst is far from over. The worst is far from over. RBI recently released Financial Stability Report. A report was released by RBI, Financial Stability Report. According to that report, in March 2018, the NPS were 11.6%. In March 2018, the NPS were 11.6%. In March 2019, they are going to be 12.2%. In March 2018, the NPS are 11.6%. In March 2019, they are going to be 12.2%. That means for every 100 rupees which the bank is lending, 12.2 rupees is not coming back at all. For every 100 rupees bank is lending, 12.2 rupees is not coming back at all. Leave away interest, even the principal is not coming. The 12.2% is not coming. So this is a pathetic situation. We are assuming that NPS will get decreased, but in fact year by year non-performing assets are increasing. What do you mean by non-performing asset? Non-performing asset means if somebody takes the loan, if they don't repay for 90 days, if somebody takes the loan for 90 days in the loan account, if principal or interest anything was not deposited, then that particular account is called non-performing assets. So non-performing assets are going to be increased. And the article also speaks the gross NPS, gross non-performing assets are also going to be increased from 21% to 22.3%. Even in the gross NPS, there will be a rise 21% to 22.3%. And capital risk weighted assets ratio, capital to risk weighted assets ratio, even capital to risk weighted assets ratio, it is under risk. At least there should be enough capital for the risks we are facing. Risks means if nobody repays the loan, at least bank should have enough capital for that. Even that ratio is becoming worse. Now it was 13.5, is going to become 12.8. Capital to risk. Risk is increasing. Capital is decreasing and risk is increasing. To solve this entire problem, last year government announced recapitalization of banks. Recapitalization of banks means funding the banks, providing funds for the banks. In spite of this, we still have a big problem in the banks. And the frauds and scams are more higher in public sector banks than in the private sector banks. The scams, frauds, etc. are higher in the public sector banks than in the private sector banks. A major highlight of the Financial Stability Report, is that public sector banks are far more prone to frauds. PSBs, public sector banks are far more prone to frauds. More frauds in public sector banks. You all know recent Punjab National Bank scam. The RBI notes that more than 85% of frauds this year are linked with public sector banks. More than 85% of frauds this year are linked with public sector banks. Even though the share of credit in the public sector banks is only 65%, frauds are 85% in PSBs. Out of total frauds, in PSBs itself 85% frauds, whereas the total credit share of PSBs is 65%. And to solve the problem of NPS, we had Bankruptcy Insolvency Code. 2016, we have made an act called Bankruptcy Insolvency Code. With this act, they wanted to expeditiously adjudicate, speedy adjudication, speedy disposal of NPS, bankruptcy cases. In spite of that, NPS are increasing. In spite of that, NPS are increasing. What we need is more and more operational autonomy to public sector banks. Operational autonomy means operational freedom to public sector banks. So, the gist of the article is financial stability report have come, NPS are going to increase, credit is going to decrease, credit risk assets are going to increase, credit is banks cash is not matching with the risks are more and more frauds in the public sector banks, more frauds in the public sector banks. Unless we take an urgent call on this issue, there will be a problem. Unless we take an urgent call, there will be a big problem about this issue. Just we have to remember that. The next important article, after the feat. Grandmaster at 12 years of age are pregnanta. Grandmaster at 12 years of age are pregnanta. Now has to prove himself a lot. He became grandmaster at a very small age. Now his visualization and acumenship, risk taking and visual and entire match is really good. Now he has to prove himself in the future also. This is the gist of the article. Next article, rethinking the referendum. Rethinking the referendum. Rethinking the referendum. This article is related to Brexit. Brexit. Rethinking the referendum article is related to Brexit. What is this Brexit? 2 years back, Britain wanted to come out of European Union. 2 years back, Britain wanted to come out of European Union. In 2016, in June, Britain voted to come out of European Union. There are 28 member countries in the European Union. First of all, you should know what is this European Union is all about. It is basically an economic union with the same currency. There are 19 countries who accepted euro as currency. They are called Eurozone countries. There are 19 countries, the countries which have accepted euro as currency, that's called Eurozone countries. And in European Union, we have a term called Schengen area. Schengen area. There are some countries who are not in the European Union but a part of Schengen area. You should know what is the Schengen area. Schengen area means you can travel without any visa permits. You can travel without any visa permits. As you travel from Hyderabad to Bangalore, Bangalore to Chennai, Chennai to Mumbai, Mumbai to Delhi and Delhi to Hyderabad, you can travel from one country to other country in Europe without much restriction. This area where you can travel without permit requirements is called Schengen area. Okay. And in Britain, they have not accepted the euro as the sole legal tender. They still follow pound. Britain have not accepted euro as a sole legal tender. they still follow their pound sterling. Britain euro accept చేసుకోలేదు, వాళ్ళు pound sterling వాళ్ళు follow అవుతున్నారు. Okay, and 51.9% who attended for referendum voted to leave the European Union 2 years back. How much? 51.9%. 51.9% voted to leave. 48.1% voted to remain in the European Union. 51.9% and 48.1%. The margin is very minimum. The margin is very minimum. Overall, 72.2% actually voted in the referendum. How much of percentage of people voted? 72.2. And here, now after 2 years, again there is a rethinking of opponent parties and people about the decision they have taken on referendum. Now many are saying, let us have one more referendum. Let us have one more referendum, whether our referendum in the first time the referendum which we have conducted, whether it is right or wrong. Again, let us have one more referendum. Let us have one more referendum. Because now many of the people are opposing. The reason is, the government while asking for leaving the European Union told 2 years back, around 350 million pound sterling will be spent every week on National Health Service. They have a scheme called National Health Service. And 2 years back the government promised that every week they will spend 350 million pounds for that, but the government have not fulfilled the promise. In the same way, nothing much was achieved. No big things were actually carried out of this methodology. Nothing has happened. So people now are asking, why don't you stay back in the European Union? Okay, let us come back out of the European Union. What is the model which you are going to adopt? There are two models here. One is customs union, second is single market. See, European Union is a customs union. You have two terms which you should remember: single market and customs union. What is the difference between a single market and a customs union? See, in customs union, for example, A, B and C formed a customs union. A, B and C formed a customs union. They follow common external tariffs. Whenever somebody is selling the goods in their countries, they levy same taxes. Okay? Or whenever they are selling to somebody, they will follow same tariffs. And within these 4 countries, the trade is free. Free trade within the 4 countries, that is completely free trade, and they follow same customs tariffs when some goods are imported or exported from their 4 countries. This is called customs union. Market means it is something like no borders, no fetters at all, completely free. There are some countries who are not in the European Union but still form the single market. There are some countries who are not in the European Union but still form in the customs union. For example, Turkey is not a member in the European Union, but Turkey forms part of customs union. Turkey is not a member in European Union, but Turkey forms part of the customs union. In the same way, Norway, Iceland, Liechtenstein, these countries form part of single market. Tomorrow, whether Britain is going to be in the single market, or whether Britain is going to be in the customs union, whether Britain is going to leave everything, nothing was finalized. In what way you are going to adopt, what type of businesses will get affected, what type of investments will come into Britain, nobody knows. People are very uncertain. So, this is the entire question that was being raised here. And youth are telling, you are spoiling our future. You are playing with our future. many youth in Britain are telling that with Brexit, you are spoiling our future. You are playing with our future. So, you should remember here two treaties. European Union was created by a treaty called Maastricht Treaty. European Union was created by a treaty called Maastricht. European Union was created by a treaty called Maastricht Treaty. Major amendments to the European Union. Major amendments to the European Union. Major amendments to the European Union were carried by a treaty called Major amendments to the European Union were carried by a treaty called Lisbon Treaty. Lisbon. Lisbon Treaty. According to Article 50 of the Lisbon Treaty, 2 years notice should be given. If any country wants to leave the European Union, if any country wants to leave the European Union, 2 years notice should be given. Article 50, 2 years notice should be given. And last year notice was given, most probably by in 2019. In 2019, Britain might exit from European Union. Most probably in 2019, Britain might exit from European Union. Next article, caution against shaming. Caution against shaming. Caution against shaming. In a leading women's magazine in Malayalam, Gruhalakshmi magazine, there is a picture of a woman, breast feeding picture of a woman, and there were many objections about this picture. There were many objections about this breastfeeding of woman picture. So, case went up to High Court, Kerala High Court, whether this is obscene or not. Kerala High Court told this is not obscene. This is not obscene. Here 2-3 questions. Woman body and sexuality and non-sexual picturization. And the picture is related to mother and child and maternal care and maternal health. In this perspective, if you see, it is good. If you see in the different perspective, it is not good. But in Kerala, it is an issue of society. Issue belongs to society. In some areas, not only in Kerala, in some parts, upper caste men actually want to see the lower caste women. It was something like upper caste, lower caste. A social fight is there, and the sanctity and bodily integrity of women is in question. The particular magazine, it is, the High Court told it is right. There is no obscenity in that. But in the same time, when it comes to other issues, definitely it should be condemnable. We have to question it and condemn it. Coming to other important thing, in this judgment does consider whether the exposing of female body is instantly obscene and rejects the idea. It does mobilize ancient Indian culture to support its argument. We cannot, as a nation, people of all shades of faith and belief, effort to chain ourselves to the past, and legal law should promote morality. Law should it should also promote some paternalistic aspects. That means law should promote some paternalistic, and this is the sense of the article. Next important article, from little to zero tolerance. From little to zero tolerance. This article is related to separation of children from parents in migration policy of US. Separation children from parents. The treatment of children in foster care, Small children cruelly separating cruelly the small children from parents, and treatment of children in US schools, even small children, handcuffing of small children in the schools for petty reasons. All these things, how they are treating across political party lines. US is not happy with the incidents that were going on in the America, separating parents from the children and other things. And next important article is, beginning this week, India will participate in the deliberations of UNITRAL, United Nations Commission on International Trade Law in New York. Trade law, trade disputes have increased in India. Trade law, trade disputes have increased in India. So what we need is, there should be proper amendments to the international trade law. Proper amendments to the international trade law. Next, Ujjwala revolution. Ujjwala is giving LPG connections. Giving LPG connections. Last month, Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana completed 2 years of operation. Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala. Ujjwala means this time number of LPGs have increased to 4 crores. And LPG penetration in India have risen from 56% to 80%. India good, right? While distributing new connections is no mean a feat, it's not a less feat, but it's very difficult to implement this program. Okay, this is what is LPG. You can collect the entire data from the article. This is the important current affairs. On the last page, if you take last page today, Japanese mission reaches unexplored asteroid Ryugu. Japanese mission reaches unexplored asteroid Ryugu, R-Y-U-G-U. First you should know, June 30th, day after tomorrow, is UN's International Asteroid Day. June 30th is International Asteroid Day. June 30th, International Asteroid Day. A Japanese mission reached an asteroid 300 million kilometers away to collect information about the birth of the solar system. To collect information about the birth of the solar system. The name of the asteroid is Ryugu, R-Y-U-G-U. Remember this? These are the important current affairs today.